Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today I am going to start with the Windows Powershell Beginners to Professional series part 2. In this I am going to cover what are the pipelining, how we can set a pipeline output and discovering the objects members, formatting of pipeline outputs, sorting of objects and creating some calculate. I will show you how we can set up and how we can execute this in this video. I will show a couple of sample commands also. Okay, so first of all, what is a pipeline? Pipeline is a command separator or a pipe character. You have seen the keyboard. This is one is the it's in a two dash form on the keyboard. So once you put a pipe, then it will separate two commands and execute the first command output to next associated command. So if you type, you can place a pipe between two Windows commandlets or Windows 2 PowerShell commandlets and pass one of the first commands output to second command. For example, I put a get. Then you can see examples are mentioned here. Get then set. Get AD user set a specific property. Get AD user where I can put some constraints or condition. I will cover it later on. Select object. Select a specific object and then set a specific property. So this is the thing how it will work. First I have taken a user account and then I'm going to set a value. For example, I placed a command get user account where the department is IT. Now I'm just going to pass this to set group membership and I just go and add some group membership or any other specific property that I want to update it. So it will basically consolidate two commands in a single execution and taking the output from the first part and executing it in the second part or the next part. So with the help of pipeline output, okay, now for example, you can see it get set pattern how it's basically work. It will take a running. You can see the Windows RM, one of them service is there and virtual hard disk. So these are the some samples which I have mentioned here. So for example, I am just going to take a service and then stop the service. So I've taken a service name get open Windows service and then stop hyphen service. So what it will do, it will take the service from the get command and then further to that stop it. Or if I want to stop all the services that start with win, so I can put a command with win and star. Same way if I want to set a users department, so I want that okay for all the users please set the department as marketing. So what I will do, I will run a command get -ad user and then after pipeline I set use a set command. Let's set department as whatever I want to. So it will basically work in a pattern where a combination of two commands you want to consolidate and put the output of first command into a second part. Then you have to use this pipelining structure. Apart from that, some other sections also, like if I want to set get a format list and format tables, I will show you all this in this video itself only. Okay, so the objects can be identified with the base of properties, methods, events, the membership, or that means if you are trying to discover some objects, uh, I will show you how we can do that. What happened with this, whenever you are trying to put a command with get member, it's always associated with uh, other specific type of command. It will show all the properties, methods and event that are associated with that object member. So the properties are basically the attributes of that objects, and the methods that can the action that can be performed on that particular object, like whatever the actions you can perform it on that object, and the event trigger when the something would be happen. So let me quickly show you how we can do that, or how it's basically working. Okay, sorry, I just clicked on that. Okay, let's go back on my shell. Suppose I put a command get hyphen service. Let me, okay, then if I put a pipeline where I'm just going to pass input for next command, get member. Now we can see it here. It's giving me a property, method, and events. Events are basically the dispose, where the system event handler will work. The definition which is coming from that, basically it's on a .NET base. If you work, go on Microsoft TechNet sites where it's mentioned in details what exactly how the system event handler will work, the programming of C Sharp and VB scripts, etc. So here, if sorry, VB.NET. So now if you see it here, the close is the method that can use continue, dispose, equal, execute command. So these are the couple of methods that can be used. Properties can be shut down, can stop, can container, service side, status. So these are the properties associated with this commandlet, and a couple of events like the dispose one. So whenever you put this command get member, so it will show how what all are the associated. Let me check if it's available with get AD user or not. Let me quickly take a look. Okay, if I need to put a star here because the filter is mandatory for get AD user. Now you can see these are the contents equal, so a couple of methods and the properties that are exist with this command get AD user. And as I mentioned, properties are the attribute of that object. Methods are the action that can be performed that on that particular objects, and the events are the trigger when something happened to an object that's required to produce an output. So these are the some background things. Yes, we have to use it somewhere, and whenever we use, I will show you how we can use it. Okay, now just going back on that. Okay, formatting the pipeline outputs, where you can put pipelines along with output. I think most of the time you have used that FL. It's in format list. Short form is FL. Same as FT is format table, and format wide is also available. So these are the couple of output strategies that you can use in the short form as well as in detailed form. If you want to put the command, the complete command, you can put it like that. Apart from that, we have an custom option also available, format custom, where you can customize the formatting structure, but that require your custom XML configuration file. So that must be you have to include, and when you define a format. So let me quickly show you a command like this. Okay, get hyphen services and not secure boot, because we do not get much details in that. So let me quickly take a service pipeline and FL or format list. Okay, so now you can see it's giving me a detail of services in the form of list. If I take it as a format table, the difference would be there. So now it's coming in the form of table, the services information. Same as, okay, so now just going back on this with formatting the pipeline output. So in that, what we are going to do, we're going to see the output of pipeline in the form of format list that we use as an FT. We can use for sorry FL for the format list. We can use a short form FT for the format table, and for the format wide we have an format wide option is also available. Apart from that, we have a custom formatting is option like format hyphen custom, which I have not mentioned here, but that required an XML configuration file. So with the help of that, you have to set XML configuration file, and with that, it will show your custom formatting. So let me quickly go back on this and see how it's working. So let me quickly show you. Sorry, I moved ahead. Okay, so I'm just going it here. If I put a command get hyphen service, okay, and I put a pipeline, so I can pass it format hyphen list. Let's see, it will show the list of all services in the form of list. And if I put this command as a table, so now it's coming in the form of table. This is how. Now if I can show you some other example, get hyphen ad user fl. This is the short form fl star. So star will show everything. So I'm just putting it fl format list, and its filter is for entire ID. So you can see the list of users in the form of list only. And if I put this command as ft format table, what we have in a different form. So it would be depend on your requirement how you want to take it. I can also put a select commandlet that I will show you later on how it is associated with this. Okay, just going to back on next. Okay, we can sort the object by a specific name or a specific format type as a descending or ascending order with the parameter. Like here I have, you can see the get services sort object, and by name it's asking to sort it. So let me quickly show this also. Let me just go back. Okay, on my shell I get hyphen services, and then I can use sort hyphen object, okay, by name. So it will sort the, when you can see that it sorted this files, these services by name, A, then B, then C. And if I change the order as descending order, so what will happen next? See, it's sorted in reverse order. That you can associate with any of the commands. That does not require a specific command. You can use ad user like this command which I just placed at ft star. So you can also sort it by name like this field. If I want to do it, I can do sort it's an object by name. Okay, it's taking in the format of list as a default structure. You can see it here. Like started with the name, given name is not mentioned. That's why These are the default system objects. That's why name is not there. Here you can see the names are there. So the login L, then M, then M, then S. So in the same format, if I put an FT like format table, so that can show result in the form of table. Okay, let me quickly go back on this. You have an group by parameters also where you can put a grouping if you have multiple objects with the same category or categorization. Sort object can work in ascending and descending order both. And if suppose you have a services can be categorized in the form of status, so you can group by those services also. Let me quickly show you one example on this. Okay, I have run that command. I think the services one. Okay, so I've done this. So what I can do, I am just going to sort it. Sort object name and status. I'm taking a services with the status, the current status of the service along with name, and I think one part remaining that was a format white. So I'm taking it format white, group by status. It would be totally depend how you want to use that. Okay, you can see the format white is there, status is running, and this is the status as in form of stop. So it fetched all the services. I have taken just name at this moment. If I want to keep the other fields, I can take it out that also, and I place that in a format white, so just like a listing way, and I have structured as in the form of status of. So it's taking a status as stopped if it has in more than one states, 3, 4, 5 states. So it will categorize all the states by their groups. So this is how I run when I run this command. This is the command which I have executed. Okay, now just going back on this. Okay, so creating calculated properties. Some of uh, specific objects required a combination or a calculation to display the result. For example, disk space. If you directly fetch a disk space, obviously it will gives you a figure of bytes, KBs, and etc. So how we can categorize that, or how we can calculate and show the structure in an appropriate way. Even you can put a label and the expression. So let me quickly show this with you. Okay, for example, here you can see one of the hash table or a variable that we have taken it, and it's called hash table, where you start with the @ sign and close it. The vessels where you can put the label key, label string value, and then expression block. It's little bit complicated if you think at initial level. Obviously, it could be seems like a little bit complicated one, but it's not actually the such complicated. Just need to understand the structure of this. If you go and try to see, so let me just go back on my previous slide to show you on this. Okay, I think I move next. This one. Okay, so here you can see it. What exactly? It's basically working on our select object parameter, and with the select object I can put a couple of expressions that are form of label and assign a label also at that. So whenever we use a select object, that can create your custom or calculated properties. Mainly whenever you are going to use this expression select object. an hash table, which we have seen it here. The hash table is nothing else, is just as a scripting block, or you can say a associated array section that contain multiple items, and each item has a key and a value that is paired with each other. So the label key, for example, it's mentioned as n, and the label string value is your virtual memory. And here what we have put, ps item is nothing else. Ps item is just as a predefined environment variable, so where we have taken it vm as an expression block, the value, and semicolon is just to indicate and separate those two values with the expression key and the label key. So n represents the label key here, and e represents the uh, your expression key. When I use this with select object, how we can use it, let me show you with the sample command. Okay, if I'm going to put it get hyphen process. Okay, along with pipeline, select object, select object, name and id. I've taken only two parameters, so I can see it only two would be here. If I take fl star, ft star, so it would not show. Also that you can see it's showing all the processes and their IDs. Now I want to add a couple of more like virtual memory, paged memory for those items. So how I can put it in the expression? Let me quickly add those parameters also here. So what I will do, I will put it at address sign and then the same one which we have seen in the previous structure. So n is equal to virtual memory. So what exactly am I? You're just typing a value that display as a parameter, or you can say as a label, and I placed it and I placed the virtual memory. What exactly it will do in e, I am just taking a value as e is equal to expression. You can take any other variable option, it's not mandatory e or n, you can take. Okay, and dollar ps item, it's a default one, dot vm. Same when you can take, as you are in ad user, ad execution, anywhere you can take it as per your requirement. I think I have closed that both boxes. Let me quickly enter it. So you can see now it's giving me a value in the form of virtual memory. So this is the how much virtual memory is associated. It is a complicated value, and obviously you have to calculate it, because if you're not calculating, it's not easy to read. Same as, and like VM is the virtual memory. And now what I have to do, if I add something else, what we can add it. Let me quickly go back on this. And we have, if you are calculating a properties, so a couple of shortcuts if for specific to memory, if you are calculating, same as for the different mathematical calculations, you have an mathematical functions available that you can discover it in more detail. So how we can do the calculation in that specific, if we are talking about, so we can take a format megabyte for MB, KB is for kilobyte, GB is for gigabyte, TB is for terabyte, and PB is for petabyte. So these are the default parameters. You have to identify wherever you are using. If you are using calculation of properties for the memory, mostly memory you have to use, because You are calculating disk space, hard disk space, RAM. So in those scenarios, you have to use this. That's why I have taken this as an example. So let me add this with my option, which is if I'm taking it as a 1 MB. So let me quickly add it VM, and it is divided by 1 MB. Let me see what exactly happened. So now you can see the values are changed and it's based on MB. You can see the last one. If I'm taking it as the last one, this one was there. Now if I whenever I have divided this with the 1 MB, so now the value is change with the decimal points. And if I take it as an 1 GB instead of MB, let me show what exactly how it's getting changed. So now you can see it's changed to 2 gigs or 4 GB. So this is how we can calculate the values and requirement on as per our requirement. And we can also define the formatting structure, uh, decimal places, and we can define the couple of variables. I will show you how we can define the variable in upcoming video. So through with the help of that video, you can try, you will get the information how it's working, the calculation part. Okay, you can see it here. Yeah, they have mentioned at a calculation for examples where it's taken a drive letters. Select the object property drive letters and according to the size they have calculated it. It's also a structure, the same one they followed here. And PS item, as I mentioned already, PS item is basically used as a predefined your structure like VM is for virtual memory, size is for disk size, and 2 is the parameter objects. I will discover how the parameter objects are getting covered and how it's taking the value from where and what exactly the expression is doing, because if n0 colon n2, so what it will do, I will explain everything in upcoming video how, because once we calculate the disk size etc, then we have to use the which drive we are going to take it for this purpose. So guys, that's all about for today's video. I will be get back on this with my upcoming video, and where I will show a couple of commandlets related to and expressions how we can use, and then step by step we will move for large scripting where the loops and everything will cover. So keep watching my channel and stay connected. Thank you so much. We'll be back soon. Thank you.